It's a special episode of Locked On Coyotes. We're going to have a new part of our Grow the Game series. We're going to talk with the founder and CEO of the Arizona Legacy Pride Hockey Association in just a moment. This is Locked On Coyotes.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Robyn Leonio. That is Carl Pavlik on this episode of Locked On Coyotes. It's a special episode, a new episode of the Grow the Game series. This is our second one. Our first one was with Lindsey Fry back in February, and now we have a new episode. Today we have the founder and CEO and president of the Arizona Legacy Pride Hockey Association, also referred to as Alpha, Matthew Marshall, for joining us. Matthew, thanks for coming on this show. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. It's good to be here.
So tell us about about this organization. I know that you were telling us before we went on the air, and in the series of emails before, that you're finishing up your finished up your first season. How did that go? And just tell us how things went to get it all started.
So the 2021 to 2022 season was our inaugural season. We only run through fall and winter, and we just finished our championship games up in February, and I feel like it was pretty successful. It was definitely, it almost felt like a gamble a little bit, based on the small group. Obviously kicking off anything new is a little bit of a risk. And when you go to sign that contract for the ice time over a season, but it was worth it. We took a little bit of a risk in expectation and registrations, but we ended up getting 2 teams. And it kind of grew as the season went on. So we started out with about 24 people who registered before the season started, and then as the season went along, because of the Pride Parade, I was handing out some cards, and then we started to have, I had my vice president who's not with us anymore, was an amazing marketing manager, and was doing great things for Facebook and Instagram. So we had people kind of trickling in who are already hockey players in the community, who started joining and play with us, and we had a sub-in program where people could play with us for a game, and yeah, it was definitely interesting and fun, and it was a lot of hard work, and I would say it was very rewarding for as much work as it was, and it was a very much so learning year for us for the first year.
I have to ask, was there any kind of COVID impacts because of it? Just because with it happening during that time, everything I saw the past 2 years has been some kind of COVID impact, or people doing something because they are, work from home, they're more home based. Did that kind of have any kind of implication in it, or was it just coincidence that you guys decided to start recently?
So it did actually impact it, because not last year, but the year before, maybe even the year before that, it was right when COVID had started. We were going to try to kick something off, but we just it just wasn't the right time. So things didn't come together. And then when we started last year, we started with just some clinics. I ended up paying out of pocket for some ice time, just to see how many people we could get to come out for interest wise. And that's how we started building interest. And then over the season, I think last year, most people, whether they were still in denial about what COVID actually was, or acknowledging or any of that, the general consensus was that when people were sick, they didn't come in, they didn't play, they were very careful. And then there was a little bout when COVID numbers kind of rose again last year, and And there were some short benches for a couple of games, but people, they really did take the initiative to just stay home and not come in, whether they knew, oh, I'm only a little sick. They were really careful about it. So I feel like it did impact us a little bit, but we ended up being pretty smart about it for the most part.
I mean, that's good. We saw quite a few NHL teams and just teams throughout other leagues just being like completely wiped out because someone came in when they shouldn't have, and it spread even if they weren't feeling it. So glad you guys didn't suffer like too many major setbacks because of that.
And especially those smaller startup leagues like this one too, because something like that could be devastating, right? If something were to happen to affect that, because that's a financial hit too.
Yes, definitely.
With the next season starting up soon, what do you want to build off of the last season? Like, kind of where are you looking to grow? Where are you looking to do better? What are you looking to kind of stay the same?
So we are a non-divisional hockey league, and what that means is we try to take in all levels, because as far as like being a LGBTQ plus hockey league, we have to expect that we're not just going to be able to pull them out of the hockey community that's already there. There are a few there, and they have come to play with us, and there's probably more who have yet to come play with us, and we welcome you, all skill levels. But the main gig and in all of this is we have to create the players, and so we do that with our summer clinics, which we're applying for a grant right now. We're hoping to get that'll help us run June, July, and August. And then our new season will start September. And where we're looking to grow is teams. We want to at least pull 4 teams in. So last year we had 2 teams. Being non-divisional, you have to do a lot of I don't want to say damage control, but it's really tough because the better players, if they don't have another outlet where they're already playing well and they try to play with us, it's hard for them to kind of play down a little bit. So it's a great mixture. Personally, I think it's a great mixture to put the noobs on with the let's say B level players and more advanced players, because it keeps the game smoother and it keeps it faster. Generally with like a very beginner hockey league, beginner players only on the ice, it's very slow and the puck goes all the way across the ice. Nobody's really chasing after it that actively. So it kind of helps keep the gameplay a little bit smooth. The goalies hate it because they don't know whether it's going to be really fast and they know where their puck's going to come from, or it's going to be something slow and locked into the net. So the goalies are like, oh, this is a little, it's unpredictable. But I would like to definitely grow on the teams, and something new that we want to grow from is definitely we're going to be moving to like Sports Engine for player management, and I want to get some sponsors this season. Like that would be great. Like last year we did it all ourselves. We ran a fundraiser in December. We called it our Pride Night. And we brought in a bunch of people to come watch, and we did like a bake sale type thing, and like we raised like a bunch of money to help finish paying for the ice over the season, and it was very successful, and it was a lot of fun. So I think that player management with Sports Engine is going to be a big upgrade for us if we can grow to 4 teams. And I would love to see some local businesses or local corporations, help us out with this. And like we have some sponsorship packets and stuff like that. And that would be a great gig for us.
We're talking with Matthew Marshall of the Arizona Legacy Pride Hockey Association on this episode of Locked On Coyotes as part of our Grow the Game series. We're going to continue this conversation in just a moment, but first we have a quick word from Carl.
So I have a message from our friends at HelloFresh, where you can get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. You can skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. HelloFresh allows you to get farm fresh seasonal produce and easy to make recipes delivered right to your door every week. Ingredients travel from the farm right to your doorstep in under a week, so they always arrive fresh, all without a trip to the grocery store or the farmer's market. Personally, I always like to experiment with food. So, great thing I like about HelloFresh is they give a lot of seasonal options, a lot of new things that you could try that you're not necessarily going to get everywhere else. What I want you to do is go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16 and use the promo code LockedOn16 for 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16. Promo code LockedOn16 for 16 free meals and 3 free gifts.
So back here on Locked On Coyotes, once again, we're talking with Matthew Marshall of the Arizona Legacy Pride Hockey Association. Matthew, one of the things I want to get to is, again, talking about, this league, and, obviously you mentioned it, it is, mainly geared towards that LGBTQ community, and how important is that to, on getting that out there, because, and tapping into that community, because we talked to, when you talked to Lindsay Fry, she's not only a major ally, but, her big thing was, getting young girls out there. And now we have, the LGBTQ here who, obviously it's, that it's a good community down here in Arizona.
Definitely. So, Phoenix is, one of the largest cities in America. And I think that it's very important to tap into. So I should kind of go way back to about 5 years ago when I first started playing hockey. It was at the Madison Gay Hockey Association in Wisconsin. And that is where we get the legacy part of our name. So it's also a very LGBTQ plus oriented, it is an LGBTQ plus hockey league, and they're very big. They, like, when I played, I know it was like 15 teams or 10 teams, 150 players. Is huge. And they've been doing their thing for like a long time. Like, I don't quote me on this, but it was like 10 to 15 years that they started doing this, and there are others like us out there. So the reason why we started this is because I wanted to help provide the same thing that was offered to me when I lived up there, and it made me feel welcome. It made me feel like I was able to be myself. I do play hockey at a local on a local adult league, or beer league, which you would call it, and in what we call a brave space, and it's just that, you know what I mean. And I feel like they do a good job of trying to, I wouldn't say like creating a safe space, but they do take the steps that like USA Hockey holds them accountable to, as far as like not being discriminatory and stuff like that, and using certain language. So they do a good job of that, and I feel comfortable with my teammates there. But it's important that we create spaces like these, because a lot of us felt uncomfortable in a sports setting traditionally, and uncomfortable in the locker room, uncomfortable to be ourselves, or the language that's used in a lot of sports, and even at young ages in schools and stuff. The language that's used just makes us feel uncomfortable. Like, maybe we were really good at sports, but hearing our teammates, use those words that make us feel uncomfortable, or, slurs that we just don't like to hear, it helps us. It keeps us from not performing the way that we should be. And yeah.
Absolutely. And that's 100% real. And I can tell you that, I was part of sports growing up as someone like myself, and as a trans person of color, and growing up, and even before starting beginning transitioning myself, hearing homophobic or transphobic slurs, that made things worse for me in sports. And I think had there been something like that, had knew there were communities like that open for me, like, I think it would have made things a lot easier. So I think something like this is absolutely huge, and I love to see something like this grow.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Carl.
Oh, I was going to ask, that all sounds really great. Do you still keep in touch with the Madison program that you were with? Do you guys like get like tips and stuff from them, like ways to like help grow and do your own process? Because I imagine they know a lot of things that can really help you out, and just kind of share that knowledge.
When we first started founding the program, we definitely called on them, and the current president, Amanda. Oh my gosh, I'm bad with names. But
Fine.
and also the founder, Patrick Faribaugh. I know. I talked to him a lot before I started this, and he told me some do's and don'ts. And he told me a couple of things to help me make sure that this was for the community, and that it just didn't become some cisgender white gay male hockey league that wasn't open to like the whole community. And the undertaking of this program was a lot of me actually learning how to be an ally to my own community, which I was not. I will openly admit that I was not a great ally to my community at all. Being cisgender white gay male, I'm the worst non-ally that they have out there. I was. And so I had to learn how to listen to folks, and I had to learn when I didn't know something and didn't understand that I had to listen. And a lot of that was my former VP definitely, helped me out, and they gave me a bunch of pointers. And I also had a good friend of mine who I played hockey with at MGHA, who's living in Seattle now, who's used to be a professor. He does a lot of DEI consulting now. But I was able to be myself with and learn how to be better. So it was a lot of me getting out of my comfort zone and learning how to be better as far as for my community. And it's still continues to be a little bit of discomfort, but that's okay. I'm okay to get out of that comfortable spot to learn how to be better to the community, because it's something that should be serving the community, not a specific demographic of the community.
And that's one of the great things about sports. Like it is a place that creates a community, and it helps people grow and be better in a community. I know just in my experience covering hockey, I have definitely become a much better person just kind of listening to everyone around me and the community that is created by sports. And it's one of the magical things about sports. And I'm glad that it's able to help create communities wherever it can, and that you are helping to grow the community.
Yes, thank you.
And again, especially in that in a community that is in a lot of places, underserved, right? Especially in sports, right? Because because we're only just seeing now like openly gay, openly trans, openly whatever people in sports. Like it's 2022 and it's just happening. And it's good that I think because of these organizations like this and whatever, that people are starting to become more comfortable with this. So I think it's awesome.
Very rewarding to hear the new players come up and tell me how they feel, or they're like, I'm so glad you do this, and I'm like, I'm glad that you're saying that, because I work a full-time job, sometimes 70 hours a week during the week, and like all of the hours put towards this league is totally volunteer because we're a nonprofit, and it's just worth it to see other people grow to love the sport like I have. I wasn't even a sporty kid when I grew up. I did not play sports at all. Like, I was terrible at them. And as an adult now, since I was 30, I started playing hockey, and it has fulfilled a specific part. It has fulfilled something in my life that nothing else has been able to do, and I think sports are very important. So.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. We're talking once again with Matthew Marshall of Arizona Legacy Pride Hockey Association on this special episode of Locked On Coyotes. We're going to continue this conversation in just a moment, but first, a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses company that gives you the features of $200 sunglasses for the fraction of the price. That means polarized lenses, well-constructed durable frames, and premium high-end finishes. Also, something you don't find anywhere else is Shady Rays' Insane Protection Program. Shady Rays includes lost and broken protection on every pair. They'll send you a brand new pair if you lose them, no matter what happened. Give them a try, and if you don't love them, you'll pay nothing. It's as simple as that. Plus 10 meals which are needed to fight hunger in America when you shop with Shady Rays. Exclusively for our listeners, head to shadyrays.com and use the promo code LOCKEDON to get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. That's the code LOCKEDON for their best deal of the season. 50% off 2 or more pairs of Shady Rays sunglasses. Backed by over 150,000 verified 5-star reviews.
So I also have a message from our friends at Built Bar, and that's, have you tried the Puffs? If not, you are missing out on one of the best tasting Built Bar flavors. The Puffs are the first ever protein infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, they're not just a protein bar, they're a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. The Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors, like the yummy cinnamony churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie, which is always my favorite. They're all so good, you're gonna find one that'll be your favorite. Plus, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Most Built Bars only contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which typically has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. What I want you to do is go to built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com.
So once again, back here on Locked On Coyotes, Robyn Leonio, Carl Pavlik, and Matthew Marshall of Arizona Legacy Pride Hockey Association on this special episode. As we help grow the game, we're talking about again a pride, a pride league, help things to grow the game with the LGBTQ community. And Matthew, I want to ask you this question, and that is what's the relationship been like with the Coyotes? And obviously they're an organization that is that obviously seems to try to be a pretty good ally. So they have a member of a prominent member of the community as their radio color analyst in Lindsay Fry. We had her on not too long ago. But how has that been, trying to get a relationship with them?
Oh goodness, Lindsay Fry. She's so great in person too. I mean, I can't imagine, like, it just you guys probably see her a lot on interviews and TV and stuff like that. But if you actually get to meet her, she's just got great energy, and she's just totally the coolest. So we kind of got called out, me and 2 others who were former MGHA players who lived here in Arizona. We got tagged on a Facebook post who Elizabeth Johnston works for community outreach at the NHL. She's out of New York. She said, is there anybody in Arizona doing anything as far as, LGBTQ plus hockey goes? I have friends in Arizona who want to help. So that's how it started. Me and a couple of others that were tagged, Zachariah Strong and John Cromer, and Caden as well. Caden, I can't remember his last name. Anyways, we were tagged, and so we started chatting it up with Elizabeth, and she forwarded us to Brittany, who is part of the Coyotes community development team. And from there, we had a meeting with Matt Schott and a couple of others. I think Lindsay was supposed to be in that meeting, Christina Kehoe, and we just talked, and we talked about, what could we do to start something, and they asked what could they do, and we ended up having another meeting with Matt, and he had suggested, doing a Growlers program for us. And if you guys don't know what Growlers program is, and it's an adult learn to play program where, you pay a lump sum of money for, generally you get a full set of hockey gear except for skates, and you get like 10 weeks of introductory hockey. And they said, well, what if we run a Pride version of this? And I said, that would be amazing. And, an organization like that, saying like, hey, we'll do this for you guys. And then we had another meeting with my friend Gilbert, who's a DEI consultant, and we kind of had some questions and stuff like that. And we kind of helped them organize, how to treat community members as far as like, locker room stuff and everything else. We told them, co-ed locker rooms and everything else. And we got to see the cool jerseys they had out for the Growlers, and they ran it, and they were, oh man, like the atmosphere was great. So the Coyotes helped us out so much. They let me run around with my little, business cards that I printed out, and they let me bug all the players and just hang around for free. They didn't ask me to do anything. I set up a table and I told them like, hey, I want to start this league. And we ended up getting quite a few players from that to join us for our first season. And they have been extremely supportive. My gal pal, Christina Kehoe, gosh, I love her so much. She's just been my biggest cheerleader and support person at Arizona Amateur Hockey Association board meetings and just on the sidelines. And I just love her to death. So, it feels like, Patrick Faribaugh, founder of MGHA, has this quote, and I totally feel it. And it's, it feels like we're standing on the shoulders of giants when we have an organization like the Arizona Coyotes backing us and saying, what can we do to help your community? And it feels just amazing that they're like, we want to help, and it's words can't explain my gratitude for the association, for the Coyotes, and what they've done for us. There's a lot of, even Matt Schott had said, he said, I didn't know that there needed to be this much support until like they posted like an ad for like the Pride Growlers or the Pride Night or something, and like they saw some of the like the hate speech on like the Facebook comments of like people like, oh, don't make this political, or this, that, and the other. Like this is why we create safe spaces for us to learn sports like this, because there are people out there who think that we don't deserve a little bit of extra care or something to like, we do something on our own for ourselves. We're just trying to learn things like hockey, and so the response from them has just been amazing. They just had their Pride Night in March, and 30 of us as a group came and showed up, and they gave us a big shot on the Jumbotron, and like it's just been great. They let us walk with them at the Phoenix Pride Parade, and that's like I had so much fun just doing that. It's just been a great ride, like having them in my back pocket, like it's words can't explain.
And that's awesome to hear something like that, because any team can just, like they can just talk the talk, and just say like, oh yeah, we support LGBT, and they just put it like a, like a special Pride Night, just do Pride tape, and that's it. There are teams that do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see that the Coyotes are actually engaging with the community and actually going and local. That's the big part, because like going local, supporting local, that is what helps grow the game. And again, that's the whole point of this series, growing the game. And when they help, and when there's organizations that do that, it just warms my heart to see that.
Yes, they've been very active in helping the local community, and they are supposed to be helping us launch, and they're supposed to do another Growlers program, I believe starting this month. The problem right now is with the Growlers that the Growlers is having is they're having a gear shortage. So they're having a problem offering the gear to the people as far as the package goes, but they're working on some stuff. And the Alpha has collected a bunch of donated gear over the last year. And so like tomorrow at 2:30, this might be airing at a later date. So on April 3rd, we will have had a gear drive. And so we're going to be fitting up a bunch of players and with the gear that we have is donated, and they can make a small deposit for the gear that they're going to take. And it'll go towards their registration at Alpha when we start. Unless they decide hockey's not quite for them and they can return it for a refund or whatever. It's not even going to be a lot of money. As far as hockey equipment goes, it'll be pennies on the dollar for what we're going to, let them take the gear for. And, we're doing this with the gear because it's, one of the barriers is cost. It's very expensive to get into hockey. And, a lot of the people of our community who need this most might not be able to afford it as well. And so we do plan on offering things like last year we offered scholarships, and 5 were requested, and we were able to fulfill them all due to private They weren't, not all of them were private. We had some people who basically paid for, they sponsored players individually, and these were other just individuals who play in the sport, and they were like, yeah, I'll pay their fees. And we were able to give each person who requested a scholarship a full ride to play with us. And I think that's important. The three barriers that I was taught as far as hockey goes is cost, which we just discussed, and culture, which we discussed a little bit about getting into my uncomfortable spot to learn how to be better.
Yeah.
And creating a safe space, which is what we try to do, and also skill. So another part that is a part of our league is we do a little bit differently in our league compared to other local adult hockey leagues. We actually start with a day of orientation because we feel it's important to understand and explain to the players a couple of things like gender pronouns. And, we try to express that it's important that people know that it is okay to not be perfect. Just try to be better, and if you don't know, just ask. It's okay to ask somebody their pronouns. Absolutely. And we explain to the players during orientation day that, this is a safe space for our community members, and our rules and regulations are very strict in order to keep this atmosphere, top tier for our community. We take this very seriously, and so, and also just some other things as far as like, we're going to do it with our orientation this year, but last year we did a referee meeting where I brought in a representative from the Arizona Hockey Referee Association, Zach Reese. He came down and I said, hey, I want to get my players together and I want you to talk about, what's going on with the referees nationwide. I want you to talk about, the shortage. I want you to talk about referee abuse. And I want to break the barrier between players and referees. And I want you to, I want to humanize referees because they are humans, and we learned a lot, and it was amazing to be able to be a part of. And of course, being LGBTQ, a lot of us were scrutinized growing up, or we've dealt with a lot of those kinds of similar things that the referees have to deal with. So we're less likely to be that way towards the referees. But I still wanted to do that because I wanted to try to set an example once I heard that this was a problem, and we ended up learning a lot. Like how adult hockey is the worst against the referees, and that's where you get the most, where the referees are like, I'm not coming back to this because I'm not putting up with that. You know what I mean? Like they're humans and they're trying to work, and it's they don't want to put up with a lot of guff, and there's a reason why there's a high rollover rate or shortage of referees at this time. But yeah. So we do, as far as skill as well, we try to educate them really well. We have 3 clinics at the beginning of our season that are part of the registered season. It's basically like a 1, 2, 3 into hockey. Skating and edges, along with carrying the puck, is the first day. We'll do passing and shooting the second clinic day, and maybe a little bit of positioning. And then the third day is positioning, and we'll do a controlled scrimmage. This helps all of the players get on the same page as each other. The noobs can kind of acclimate a little bit, and the advanced players can acclimate with the noobs just a little bit. And then we have a day of evaluations. Evaluations is important because we have, it's a non, non-divisional league. So we don't have divisions of skill. And the evaluations help us to separate the teams so that they're, pretty even. We want to make sure that the gameplay is, not lopsided like terribly. And so we use the evaluation day for that, and then we do our teams. So we also encourage the advanced players to help coach the new players up, help set them up. We tell them to be active on the benches. And we saw that last year. We saw the players, even some of the beginner players who just knew hockey, were helping some of the other players. And I was a little jealous because, like, like I said, I wasn't a sporty kid growing up. I honestly still don't know a whole lot about hockey. I just happened to be the one to put this all together. So I was a little jealous because I watched some new people who were barely knowing how to skate at the Growlers program come in and excel so highly through one season of hockey. After the Growlers, they excelled really well, and then they started playing, and like it toward to championship, like normally this kind of thing, I would think, all right, we can bring people in to come watch. And the reason why I started playing is because I watched people play, and I'm like, oh, well, I can get down there and fall all over the ice and do that. Like the players had advanced so much that I had a hard time recruiting some of these people off ice as they were watching. They're like, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm like, man, like this is tough, uh, but it's just amazing. So it's really all about the atmosphere and breaking those three barriers down for us, and it's just been pretty successful so far, and I can't wait to do it again this next year.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like you're addressing like a lot of things that come up in most conversations about hockey. I cannot tell you how many times we've talked about hockey culture in general, and spoilers for what will be an episode that comes out after we record this. But before you guys are listening, but we are also going to be talking about hockey culture for a different thing, because hockey culture is a big area of conversation right now. But the cost is one of the things that I do not think is talked about enough. Hockey is a ridiculously expensive sport, and especially, like you said, like there's instances of abuse, of slurs. Like I wouldn't want to pay a bunch of money and then risk having to deal with that kind of crap. Like it sounds like you guys are doing a great thing in making, it not a massive financial investment, and that just allows people to come in and be a part of it, because people don't want to like make that kind of investment if they think that it's going to go badly, or if there's a chance that it's going to go badly.
Absolutely, yes.
Anyways, we're getting close to just around where we should get to towards the end of this conversation. We really appreciate you coming on, Matthew. I want to take this time, like this towards end time, to allow you to share, where to find Alpha, like online, and how to and how to support them, because that obviously I'm pretty sure there are some people who would love to support.
Absolutely. If you would like to support or just kind of check us out online, there's a few avenues to do that. We have our website, which is www.azpridehockey.org. That's our website. It's going to be soon under construction because we're switching over to Sports Engine. But if you get that, you can still find us on Facebook. We have a public page, which you should be able to just search AZ Pride Hockey, and you should be able to find it. We're also on Instagram, and we have a private Facebook group as well for those who are interested in playing with us. And you can find that at facebook.com/groups/Alpha Hockey. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. If you start Googling it and finding it on Facebook and stuff like that, you could do that. And the Facebook private group is good for folks of the community to come in and who are interested in getting started. You could, post, hey, I want to go ice skating. Does anybody want to come with? Because a lot of people do that. And that's a good place to start. If you're interested in playing hockey, buy a pair of skates and go visit your local hockey rink and hit a public skate session. And as long as you can get across the ice, we can teach you how to play hockey. Either the Arizona Coyotes hockey development team will help you, or you can come skate with us as well. And we're always taking donations. We are 501c3. And if you're interested in sponsoring us, please, please, please look me up, Matthew Spang Marshall. And again, you can email us at, let me see. It's going to be alphacustomercare@outlook.com. If you have any questions, you can email us anytime, alphacustomercare@outlook.com, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as we can. And look forward to hopefully gaining some new skaters. It's about that time. So over the summer, we're gonna be doing clinics, and the Coyotes are doing their gig. And if you want to play and you want to get some gear, you should hit us up, and we can help you out and get you started.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
One thing's for sure. I'm going to try to see if I can check it out. I live in Tucson, so it's a little hard to get up there, but
Coming soon
but
to Tucson, yes, coming soon to Tucson as well. There's
there you
actually,
go.
there's, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but I do know that there is a large sporting complex that's being built. So it will
Yes.
be 2025, 2024, I believe. I can't remember.
Yeah, for those who are unaware, there is a new complex being built, a hockey complex being built at the Keno Sports Complex just off of
Yes,
Ajo. If you live in Tucson, that's where it's being built. That's awesome to hear, though. That's awesome. I
yes,
love hearing
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes. I got a friend in Tucson, and he's been a major supporter as well. So a big shout out to Jeremy Bow. I love you so much.
Well, once again, Matthew, really appreciate you coming on. It was a pleasure talking with you and learning about it. I'm definitely, like I said, going to check out more myself. But that is it for this episode of Locked On Coyotes. Hope you guys all listened to like what you heard today. If you did, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, on Instagram at LockedOnCoyotes, and on Twitter at LO_Coyotes. I am personally at Robyn_Leano. That is Robyn with a Y _Leano. Carl Pavlik is Carl Pavlik FFH. You can interact with us, ask a question you might have. We can answer right back on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. And also want to give a huge shout out. We had a listener actually who brought you to us, Matthew, to bring you on. So I want to thank them for as well for bringing this to attention. And if any of you listeners have anybody or anything that you think should be highlighted as part of this series, you can contact us as well, and we can go ahead and get that started. But once again, thanks everyone for listening to this episode of Locked On Coyotes. Hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.